Millionairemission, Milkman, Mr. Milktastic, coming back at you with another episode, splashing in the fishbowl. And on today's episode, we're gonna thank God we alive, we survive. It's a bright light coming in from somewhere. Oh, that's where that's coming from. Okay, so we survive. We need to eat, but we ain't ate. We're gonna thank God anyways. And we got some Burger King in here that we can put in the microwave, and that'll be breakfast. Oh, how can I preface this rebuilding you? I think I already done told y'all a couple times that start over however many times you need to start over. It don't matter. You know what I mean? You start over and start from where you at. When you think about it and you starting over, just know that you ain't starting from nothing. You starting with a plethora of knowledge. So you might be starting over and even starting from ground zero, but the knowledge that you have put you ahead of when you started at ground zero last time. So no matter what's going on, just try to keep it going. Don't give up, don't quit, don't stop. You gotta rebuild, you gotta reset, you gotta restart. Don't stop. It don't stop. You can't stop because these bills won't stop. And you know, I was listening to some of you listen to what I listened to the other day. When I was getting loaded, I just had it playing, and it was saying if you bad with finances, what we do is we don't look at the finances. We just sort of, you know, you got a bill coming up, you'll pay it eventually. But sometimes, even on the credit cards, you might know it's a bill coming, and you know it's coming, but you don't think about it until after the payday, and you like, oh, I ain't catch it. You was thinking about it all the way up to the date, but then the date came, you just passed, and you ain't catch it, and now it's a late fee. So I haven't paid a late fee in quite a while right now, so I could say I have been more focused on it than I thought I was because I ain't been getting hit with them late fees right now. So financial intelligence. We got to be moving financially smart out here, guys. Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't forget that like button. Hey, you guys. What's up? Nah, for real, though. For real. What's up, y'all? We gonna focus up here. We got to focus up here, man. Ain't no other way. Ain't no other way. Father up in heaven, take this pain away from me in Jesus' name. I pray, take this pain away from me. Thank you for waking me up, my Father up in heaven. Thank you for blessing me to see another day. I ask you to be with me as I indulge in your word, to give me wisdom, to give me knowledge and understanding, and encouragement to know that you're with me so I can overcome everything. It is very, very strenuous on my brain to think of God within. So I ask you to help me get comprehension of the God within, because the way I've been thinking lately, it's like if God is within me, then there's no God outside of me because God is with me, but God is in all of us. So there is a God outside of us. He's just indwelled a part of all of us. And it's becoming confusing to me, so I ask you to clarify it so that I may clearly be able to explain it and expound on that point to anyone else, because it's becoming a bit confusing to me about having a God within. It's certain stuff I've been taking in, and it's saying like, why are you seeking a God that's outside of you if you believe that God is within you? But I believe even though there's a God within me, there's a God that's outside of me that's in control of everything, that's in everyone. So it's like if God is in everyone, then why do you think he's outside of everyone if he's in everyone? Do that make sense to you? I hope so. It's confusing to me. I'm trying to figure it out. All right, we is in Kings 2. This is 2 Kings. The second book of Kings. Chapter 3. Jehoram meets Moab rebellion. Now Jeroham, the son of Ahab, became king over Israel at Smyrna. All right. Now Jeroham, the son of Ahab, became king over Israel at Smyrna in the 18th year of King of Josaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. Hello. Boy, trying to get their truck together, huh? Wonder what's going on with that. We'll find out. We'll find out. What was that? Now Jeroham, the son of Ahab, became king over Israel at Smyrna in the 18th year of Josaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. He did evil in the sight of the Lord, though not like his father and his mother, for he put away the scarred pillars of Baal, which his father had made. Nevertheless, he clung to the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which he had made Israel sin. He did not depart from them. Now Mesha, king of Moab, was a sheep breeder, and he used to pay the king of Israel 100,000 lambs, and the wool of 100,000 rams. But when Ahab died, the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel, and King Jeroboam went out of Smyrna at that time and mustered all Israel. Then he went and sent word to Josaphat, the king of Judah, saying, the king of Moab has rebelled against me. Will you go with me to fight against Moab? And he said, I will go up. I am as you are. My people are your people. My horses are your horses. He said, which way shall we go up? And he answered, the way of the wilderness of Edom. So the king of Israel went with the king of Judah and the king of Edom. And they made a circuit of 7 days' journey, and there was no water for the army or for the cattle that followed them. Then the king of Israel said, alas, for the Lord has called these 3 kings to give them into the hand of Moab. But Josaphat said, is there not a prophet of the Lord, that we may inquire of the Lord by him? And one of the kings of Israel, one of the king of Israel's servants answered and said, Elisha, the son of Shaphat, is here, who used to pour water on the hands of Elijah. Josaphat said, the word of the Lord is with him. So the king of Israel and Josaphat and the king of Edom went down to him. Now Elisha said to the king of Israel, what do I have to do with you? Go to the prophets of your father. Cause, man, you talking about wakey wakey, you slow, man. I'm on the door. Satchel getting unloaded, about to go get another one. Check me out though, cuz. Give me a minute. I'm doing my Bible reading on my YouTube thing right now. As soon as I get done, I'll hit you back. All right, bet. Talking about wakey wakey. Nigga, I'm up. You sleep. I've been up. You sleep. Tripping. I've been up. All right, so where we at? So they sending for Elisha. Used to pour hands on the water of Elijah. Josaphat said, the word of the Lord is with him. So the king of Israel and Josaphat and the king of Edom went down to him. Now Elisha said to the king of Israel, what do I have to do with you? Now Elisha said to the king of Israel, what do I have to do with you? Go to the prophets of your father and to the prophets of your mother. And the king of Israel said to him, no, for the Lord has called these three kings together to give them into the hands of Moab. Elisha said, as the Lord of hosts lives before whom I stand, were it not that I regard the presence of Josaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look at you nor see you. But now bring a minstrel. And it came about when the minstrel played that the hand of the Lord came upon him. He said, thus says the Lord, make this valley full of trenches. For thus says the Lord, you shall not see wind, nor shall you see rain, yet the valley shall be filled with water, so that you shall drink, both you and your cattle and your beasts. This is but a slight thing in the sight of the Lord. He will also give the Moabites into your hand. Then you shall strike every fortified city and every choice city, and fell every good tree, and stop all springs of water, and mark every good piece of land with the stones. It happened in the morning about the time of the offense, about the time of the offering of the sacrifice, that behold, water came by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. Now all the Moabites heard that the kings had come up to fight against them, and all who were able to put on armor and older were summoned and stood on the border. They rose early in the morning, and the sun shone on the water. And the Moabites saw the water opposite them as red as blood. Oh, as red as blood. Then they said, this is the blood. The kings have surely fought together, and they have slain one another. Now therefore Moabites, hold on. Now all the Moabites heard the kings had come up to fight against them. And all who were able to put on armor and older were summoned and stood on the border. They rose early in the morning, and the sun shone on the water, and the Moabites saw the water opposite them as red as blood. Then they said, this is the blood. The kings have surely fought together, and they have slain one another. Now therefore Moab to the spoil. But when they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites arose and struck the Moabites, so that they fled before them, and they went forward into the land, slaughtering the Moabites. Thus they destroyed the cities, and each one threw a stone on every piece of good land and filled it. So they stopped all the spring water and felled all the good trees until in Kir Hersha only they left its stones. However, the slingers went about it and struck it. When the king of Moab saw that the battle was too fierce for him, he took with him 700 men who drew the sword to break through to the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his oldest son, who was to reign in his place, and offered him as a burnt offering on the wall. And there came great wrath against Israel. And they departed from him and returned to their own land. The widow's oil. This is chapter 4. We're going to keep going. We need the word. We need the Lord. And the story is very interesting. Something I'm finna do. I gotta make a call, though. Yeah, we're going to get the blows in. All right, we're going on chapter 4. Now a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets cried out to Elisha, your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know what your servant feared, and you know that your servant feared the Lord. And the creditor has come to take my 2 children to be his slaves. Elisha said to her, what shall I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in this house? And she said, your maidservant has nothing in the house except a jar of oil. Then he said, go, borrow vessels at large for yourself from all your neighbors, even empty vessels. Do not get a few. And you shall go in and shut the door behind you and your sons, and pour out into all these vessels, and you shall set aside what is full. So she went from him and shut the door behind her and her sons. They were bringing the vessels to her, and she poured. When the vessels were full, she said to her son, bring me another vessel. And he said to her, there is not one vessel more. And the oil stopped. Then she came and told the man of God. He said, go, sell the oil and pay your debt, and you and your sons can live on the rest. The Shamanite woman. Now there came a day when Elisha passed over to Shunem, where there was a prominent woman, and she was persuading him to eat food. And so it was, as often as he passed by, he turned in there to eat food. She said to her husband, behold, now I perceive that this is a holy man of God passing by us continuously. Please, let us make a little walled-up chamber, and let us set a bed for him there, and a table and a chair and a lampstand. And it shall be when he comes to us that he can turn in here. One day he came there and turned into the upper chamber and rested. Then he said to Gehazi his servant, call this Shamanite. And when he had called her, she stood before him. He said to him, say now to her, behold, you have been careful for us with all this care. What can I do for you? Would you be spoken for to the king or to the captain of the army? And she answered, I live among my own people. So he said, what then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, truly she has no son, and her husband is old. He said, call her. When he had called her, she stood in the doorway. Then he said, at this season next year, you will embrace a son. And she said, no, my lord, O man of God, do not lie to your maidservant. The woman conceived and bore a son at that season the next year, as Elisha had said to her. The Shamanite son. When the child was grown, the day came that he went out to his fathers to the reapers. He said to his father, my head, my head. And he said to his servant, carry him to his mother. When he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her lap until noon, and then died. She went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God, and shut the door behind him and went out. Then she called to her husband and said, please send me one of the servants and one of the donkeys, that I may run to the man of God and return. He said, why will you go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, it will be well. Then she said, saddle a donkey, and said to her servant, drive and go forward, and do not slow down the pace for me unless I tell you. So she went and came to the man of God to Mount Carmel. When the man of God saw her at a distance, he said to Gehazi his servant, behold, there is a Shamanite. Please run now to meet her and say to her, is it well with you? Is it well with your husband? Is it well with the child? And she answered, it is well. When she came to the man of God to the hill, she caught hold of his feet, and Gaza came near to push her away. But the man of God said, let her alone, for her soul is troubled within her, and the Lord has hidden it from me, and has not told me. Then she said, did I ask for a son from my Lord? Did I not say, do not deceive me? Then he said to Gaza, gird up your lines and take my staff in your hand and go your way. If you meet any man, do not salute him. And if anyone salutes you, do not answer him. And lay my staff on the lad's face. The mother of the lad said, as the Lord lives and as your servant lives, I will not leave you. And he arose and followed her. Then Gehazi passed on before them and laid the staff on the lad's face, but there was no sound or response. So he returned to meet him and told him, the lad has not awakened. When Elisha came into the house, behold, the lad was dead, and the lad on his bed. So he entered and shut the door behind them both and prayed to the Lord. And he went up and lay on the child and put his mouth on his mouth and his eyes on his eyes and his hands on his hands and scratched himself on him. And the flesh of the child became warm. Then he returned and walked in the house once back and forth and went up and scratched himself on him. And the lad sneezed 7 times, and the lad opened his eyes. He called Gaza and said, call the Shunammite. So he called her. And when she had came into him, he said, take up your son. Then she went in and fell at his feet and bowed herself to the ground. And she took up her son and went out. The poisonous stew. When Elisha returned to Gilgal, there was a famine in the land. There was a famine in the land. As the sons of the prophets were sitting before him, he said to the servant, put on the large pot and boil stew for the sons of the prophets. Then one went out into the field and gathered herbs and found a wild vine and gathered from it his lap full of wild gourds and came and sliced them into the pot of stew, for they did not know what they were. So they poured it out for the man to eat. And as they were eating of the stew, they cried out and said, O man of God, there is death in the pot. And they were unable to eat. But he said, now bring meal. He threw it into the pot and said, pour it out for the people that they may eat. Then there was no harm in the pot. Now a man came from Baal-Shilashah and brought the man of God bread of the first fruits, 20 loaves of barley and fresh ears of grain in his sack. And he said, give them to the people that they may eat. His attendant said, what will I set this before 100 men? But he said, give them to the people that they may eat. For thus says the Lord, they shall eat and have some left over. So he set it before them, and they ate and had some left over, according to the word. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all see, while I be in my book, you know what I'm saying, while I be praying to the Lord, because when the Lord say you're going to eat, then you're going to eat and you're going to have some left over. You ain't just going to eat, you're going to have some left over. That's how much you're going to eat. So let's focus and stay focused. Keep the Lord first, and we're going to have some food left over to eat. You heard me? Environments that make you rich. I think we read, but it's ready to read again. If you want to become richer, it is important to continually upgrade your environment. This is why I shake my head every time some expert recommends living below your means. By living below your means, you continually live in a lesser environment as a young boy. Every time I crossed the bridge to my rich friend's neighborhood, my brain was absorbing what it was like to live at a higher standard of living, a standard I wanted to live at. My brain was looking for ways I could achieve such a standard of living. This does not mean running out and buying a big house, flashy car, new clothes, and getting into piles of debt. What I mean is consciously and intelligently challenge yourself to improve your standard of living by increasing your financial intelligence. The best way to increase your financial intelligence is by first finding the environment where your genius can grow and develop. That can be as simple as going to a library and reading a book by a person you want to be like, or by looking at magazines with pictures of stately homes. The first step is to consciously begin to stimulate your mirror neurons to the standard of living and to the people you want to be like. In summary, financially weak people are people who tend not to develop their intelligence. They seek easy environments and easy answers. These are people who get pushed around, pay too much in taxes, work hard, and live below their means. They may be smart, good, and academic, but without the financial development of all three brains, they will most likely remain weak financially. Success requires some degree of mental and physical toughness. If you can train your left brain to understand the subject, engage your right brain to come up with the creative solutions, keep your subconscious brain excited rather than fearful, and then take action while being willing to make mistakes and learn, you can create magic. You can develop your genius. I did read that the other day, but I wanted to read it again because it was a gem. I was okay. We on chapter 10. Like I said, it's getting thinner and thinner. We almost to the end. Chapter 10 of, y'all see that? Developing your financial IQ. Make sure y'all tap in and read that too. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. This book has been about developing your financial intelligence and raising your financial IQ. As I wrote earlier, you need to have the integrity of all five financial intelligences to become rich and successful. I know this is easier said than done. Developing your five intelligences is a lifelong process, one that cannot be accomplished in a day or even a year. I am continually working on developing my intelligences, and I encourage you to do so as well. This chapter provides some practical ways to hone your financial IQ. Many financial advisors recommend investing for the long term. Most of them really mean for you to turn your money over to them so they can collect commissions for the long term. The problem with this advice is that you do not learn much, if anything at all. At the end of the long term, you are not necessarily financially smart and you have not developed your financial IQ. On top of that, most long-term investors invest in high-risk investments that offer low returns and very little control. Instead of blindly following your financial advisor's advice, you may want to consider investing in long-term traditional environments that strengthen all three brains and provide opportunities to strengthen your financial IQ. You should look for transactional environments that will develop all three of your brains and your genius in a practical way. Some examples of transitional environments are schools. School is a transitional environment for most people. Taking classes is a great way to improve left and right brain functions. The problem with traditional schools is they are not environments for developing the subconscious brain, the most powerful of the three brains. Most traditional schools magnify the mirror neurons, our fear of failing and the fear of making mistakes. Number two, the church. I have noticed that there are two kinds of churches: churches that teach the love of God and churches that teach the fear of God. I do not know how effective fearing God can be, yet I think the church is a great place to find spiritual strength, which strengthens the subconscious brain. Hopefully, with greater spiritual strength, a person will be better able to be more ethical, moral, and generous. Number three, the military. The Marine Corps was a great environment for me to develop all three brains. Being a pilot required all three brains and all seven intelligence, even musical intelligence. Often we played rock and roll music to boost our courage as we flew into combat. Today, I believe I am a better entrepreneur, especially when losing money. Gotta get that satchel right, man. Oh, we was at the church, in the military. The Marine Corps was a great environment for me to develop all three brains. Being a pilot required all three brains and all seven intelligences, even musical intelligence. Often we played rock and roll music to boost our courage as we flew into combat. Today I believe I am a better entrepreneur, especially when losing money, because I learned to improve my intrapersonal intelligence and keep my fears under control. Number four, network marketing. Most network marketing companies are incredible learning environments because they offer training, support, business structure, and products. So you can focus on developing your sales skills, and building your business. I recommend that anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur join a network marketing company for some of the best real-world, street-smart business training. These companies focus on developing all three brains and especially strengthening the subconscious brain. Network marketing training programs are great for developing your interpersonal intelligence and your intrapersonal intelligence. Developing those two intelligences will change your life and increase your standard of living because they teach you to overcome the fear of other people and the fear of failing. The best thing about learning in the network marketing environment is that it is a supportive environment, not a fear-driven one, as are schools and businesses. Instead of flunking you or firing you for below average performances, most network marketing businesses will work to strengthen you for as long as you are willing to learn and grow. I know a number of people who spent 5 years with a network and marketing business before finally breaking through their doubts and fears. Once they did that, the money poured in. Number 5, business. There are basically 2 kinds of business. Big business, big and small. Big business can be a great place to develop all 3 brains, especially your subconscious. The pressure my friends in these big corporations handle is enormous. How they do it, I do not know. The mind games and back office politics offer great opportunities to train your interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligences. For the people who want to be entrepreneurs, taking a job with a small company can be a great learning environment. One advantage a small company has over a big company is that you can learn about all the different aspects of the business. In my book, Before You Quit Your Job, I describe the 8 essential parts of a business. By working in a small business, you have a better opportunity to learn all 8 and gain essential business experience. 6. Seminars. Traditional schools are important for people who want to become licensed professionals such as doctors, lawyers, and architects. They are also important for people who want to climb the corporate or government ladders where degrees from traditional accredited schools are required for promotion. Seminars, however, are great for people who want to be entrepreneurs or investors. Today, there are seminars and conventions for every subject on earth. All you have to do is find the one that piques your interest. The Rich Dad Company has excellent seminars for people who want to become real estate professionals or learn to trade stocks. I am very proud of these programs because they are taught by instructors who practice what they teach. The more advanced courses are hands-on and learning is step-by-step. The more advanced courses are hands-on and learning is step-by-step. For example, you will go into neighborhoods and make real offers with real money. If you are in the land development course, you will work on actual land development projects. Most importantly, our courses are designed to educate and strengthen all 3 brains, and have them work in unison. By focusing all 3 brains, your profit and chances of success improve. If you would like more information on our program, simply go to richdad.com and take a few minutes to find what you need. Got a couple more, and we'll get back to them when we get back to reading some more of this. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. I'm not done for the day. I will be back because the day is one of those double uploads. We need all the blessings. You heard me? We need all the blessings. We need the millions like yesterday. We gonna get out the rat race. That's the mission. Get out the rat race. That's why we need the millions on this mission, so we could stop trading our time for money. You heard me? That part. Subscribe, like, comment. And when you see me going live again, come back. If you see me in the real world, shop with me. I got the millionaire shirts on deck. Oh yeah. Just like that.